Hi there, guys. My name is Brendan Carrell. I'm one of the librarians here at St. Philip's College. Today, I'm going to take you through a guide that we have prepared for you guys for your career research assignment, give you guys a little bit of insight into some of the resources that we have available for you, and get you started so that you can start working on your project. Let's go and take a look. The main part of the guide, this initial page, is just a sort of welcome page. We have the librarian who has prepared the guide for you, April's contact information here. And then, as I'll go into a little bit more detail later, in the guide itself, we have a way for you to directly interact with us librarians. So if you see over here on the right-hand side, you can say chat now, and that's going to bring up a chat box that is directly connected to us librarians at the library. So if you have any issues with citation, any difficulty finding resources, or any trouble navigating the guide, then we're right there available for you guys. We run that from 8 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock in the evening on the weekdays. To continue onward, you navigate this guide by using these tabs on the left-hand side. So as you can see, we're in the Home tab right now. To get to your assignment, you're just going to click on the tab labeled Assignment. So that's a very simple transition, and we'll do that now. Now, we've embedded your assignment in the Libguide, so you can come and use this Libguide as a reference for what you need to be working on, but you should also have a document from your professor to give you an insight into what the assignment is as well. At the top of your assignment, we have laid out with links a couple of the databases and resources that are going to be useful for you as you prepare for this assignment. The Occupational Outlook Handbook is a career information database maintained by the Bureau of Labor. That's a very good database. It's going to have a lot of salary range information, educational requirements for different careers, insight into what the working conditions and career outlook is for certain careers as well. It's a very good resource. In fact, it's probably the best place for you guys to start. Ferguson's Career Guidance Center is another database that the library provides for you. It is very similar to the Occupational Outlook Handbook. It has a lot of the similar information, and using the two of these would be a good idea so you can compare and contrast some of the information that you're going to be learning, researching, and presenting in your assignment. The Encyclopedia of Careers and Vocational Guidance is a print resource that we have at the library. It is in the reference section, which means you can use it at the library, but you can't check it out to take home. Please feel free to come to the library and just ask us if you can access it. It is very easy to navigate, and we'd be glad to help you do that. Our next tab, Gathering Information, is sort of like a primer for you guys. I recommend that you watch all of the videos as you have time. They're all fairly short and to the point. But to give you like a quick summary, we like to discuss with students when they're beginning research projects that it's important to do preliminary research, and it's important to be realistic about what you're looking for in terms of sources. So as you can see, the first video is titled Picking Your Topic is Research. A lot of times we will have students who pick a topic because maybe it's something they're interested in and they don't give it a lot of thought and they don't necessarily prepare for it. And inevitably, they will run into difficulty because perhaps they've picked a topic that's very narrow or they've picked a topic that's very broad and they're finding it difficult to find resources that are actually relevant to what they need in their assignment. So a little bit of preliminary research goes a long way. A little bit of discussion with one of us librarians can be extremely helpful in figuring out what your topic needs to be. In the case of this assignment for you guys, your expectations are laid out. You already know basically what careers you're interested in, and you should have no trouble finding resources. But in the future, please always remember that we're available to help you guys pick topics. We're available to help you do preliminary research, and we're more than happy to walk you guys through accessing some databases and resources if that's what you need. The second video is a good one, especially as you guys go into more research projects in the future. And it just is a basic discussion about how it's very unlikely that you're going to find one perfect resource that gives you everything you need. In the case of the databases that you guys are going to be working with, for this assignment, that's less of a concern for you. You're going to pretty much have a lot of good resources available at your fingertips. But in the event that you're doing research later on in your academic career, it's important to remember that you're probably going to need to take sources from lots of different places and from lots of different facets of the research that you're doing. So you may not have one source that gives you all the information that you need, but by using your critical thinking and your research abilities, you're going to be able to take information from one source and another source and put them together so that you get an excellent interpretation of your research. And that's part of the skill and part of the practice of research as well. Keyword searches are how you guys are going to navigate the database. If you have any trouble with this, we are glad to help you with it. In fact, as you can see along the left-hand side, we have a couple different resources available for you. So in addition to being able to chat with us, call us, email us, you can set up what are called individual research appointments. And those are a means for us to sort of get on a Zoom call with you. We sit down for like 30 to 45 minutes with you. We help you refine your topic. We help you find sources. We help you navigate the catalog and the databases if you're having trouble doing that. And we kind of just like try to coach you through the research process. It's a good way for us to tailor our instruction and our presentation to what you guys are actually going to need. So especially as you're starting your assignment, I really, really recommend if you have any hesitation at all about the project, go ahead, sign up for an IRA. We're available all summer and all semester to do them for you guys. So please don't hesitate to do that. And the earlier that you schedule them and get them done, the more effective it's going to be in getting you started off on the right foot for your research project. We also have on this same page a couple tutorial videos. So Academic Search Complete is one of our big broad-based databases. It is a multidisciplinary database, which means that it has lots of resources from a lot of different subject matter and professional areas. So it's a good starting place if you are sort of not sure about where to start in the databases. It's a really, really simple and easy one to go through. So we have a tutorial for that. In contrast, the catalog is the repository for our books and ebooks. So if you are looking for a particular resource that in print, or you think you need an ebook, or you are looking for some more supplementary material for your research, the catalog is going to be the place to go. We have a little tutorial for that as well. The final box on this page is just an explanation of how using effective keyword searching can help you narrow down some of your search results and make it a little bit easier for you to find the resources you're looking for. So I highly encourage you to take a look at these videos and to work through the keyword searching interaction in order to sort of get an idea of how you can get started on your research project in the most efficient manner possible. Using websites. So you guys, with the databases that you guys have access to for this assignment, you're going to have a lot of good resources at hand. But because of the nature of this assignment, you're going to be allowed to use outside resources as well. And with that in mind, this page is a way for you to sort of think about how to judge the utility and the veracity of the websites that you're going to be looking at as you do research online. Obviously, this is 2022. There's a lot of information out on the internet. Some of it may be accurate, some of it may be less accurate. It's important to always be aware of the types of websites that you're visiting, whether they're an educational website like a university's webpage, a government organization's webpage, an organization like a nonprofit or something, or whether they're just a .com website. Knowing what the domain is can give you a good idea of who is producing the website. And you need to also be thinking about who is responsible for the information on the website. Why was the website created? What is the date of the page creation? The more recent a website is, the more likely, just as a rule of thumb, that its information is to be current. And in a field like kinesiology, you guys are going to be wanting the most current and the most relevant resources, which is based on the fact that it's a developing field. So recency is very important in the field that you guys are working in right now. What are the credentials of the author of a web page? If you don't find any explanation of who wrote the page, what their credentials are, you should probably take that information with a little bit more of a grain of salt compared to something like a peer-reviewed a journal article that's appearing in one of the databases, or it is published in a reputable journal. And we are also able and willing to help you guys evaluate websites. If you are working on your assignment, you find a web page that you think looks good, or maybe you think you want to use for your assignment, we would be glad to take a look at it with you and help you decide if it's relevant, if it's useful, if it's trustworthy. We have a couple evaluation websites at the bottom of this page as well. So the UC Berkeley Evaluating Web Pages guidelines are very valuable. They're good rules of thumb, and they go into a lot of detail about how you can yourself evaluate website information and information that you encounter online. And just as another tool that can be useful if you have any concerns about the validity of a web page, or whether it is reputable, what its background is, you can use the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine to sort of get an idea of how the web page has developed over time. Evaluating your information. So this is a video tutorial about keyword searching and about evaluation of search results. I highly encourage you guys to watch it. As I said before, you're going to be allowed to use website results for this assignment, so it's important that you're able to look at the information that you're being presented on the internet and be able to look at it critically and understand the value of it relative to other information that you're going to be using. So we have a quick set of guidelines that we use in order to evaluate information that we find on the internet or other places too. And we call it the CRAP test, an acronym for CRAAP, and that is currency, so the timeliness of the information; relevance, the importance of the information for the work that you need it for; authority, by that we mean the source of the information, the credentials of the author, the ability that they have to speak with authority on the subject; the accuracy of the information. And so, right, like, not everybody is a subject matter expert. I'm myself not a subject matter expert. So when we talk about evaluating information for accuracy, you might not individually be able to look at a complicated journal article or something similar, or even say like the salary range for a career that you're interested in looking at. You might not have any sort of background or contrasting information where you can point to it and be like, oh, this information is accurate or not accurate. But if you are evaluating your information based on these other factors that we're discussing, you can have a good idea whether or not this information is coming from a source that is reputable and trustworthy for your purposes. So keep that in mind as you're developing your research skills, that you're going to be able to evaluate sources for accuracy by understanding whether they are credentialed to speak, whether they're a subject matter expert, whether they are coming from a position of knowledge in the subject. And these are all good indicators that the information that you're going to find is accurate. Just as a sort of aside, that's actually one of the reasons why we highly encourage you guys to work through our databases, because if you are searching appropriately, you can limit your searches to peer-reviewed results, which you can trust for accuracy a lot more than you can trust a random website that you find on Google. And the final factor is the purpose of the information. So why is it available to you? Is it being put out by a university, a research lab, a governmental organization that has a duty to inform the public? Is it being put out to advance scientific research, to promote general knowledge? Or on the other hand, is it being put out in order to influence people's opinions? Is it being put out in order to contribute to a ongoing discussion of current events or something like this? And by evaluating the purpose of the information, you can get a good idea of what goal the information purveyor has when they're trying to give it to you. So you combine all these factors and you have a pretty good idea of the value of the information that you're finding as you do your research. Finally, we have a final tab on using information ethically. So essentially what that means is we want to educate you guys about plagiarism and how to avoid it. So plagiarism is essentially when you improperly or fraudulently claim other people's work or research as your own. And this can happen a lot of ways, right? Like this can be as simple as you didn't cite a quote, or you paraphrased somebody else's work without giving them credit. Or it could be all the way up to the level of like you were passing off someone else's work as your own. All of these things are unethical, and obviously we want to avoid that. And the easiest way to avoid it is to be conscientious about using your citations and your references appropriately, and making sure that when you're using information from another source, you're giving credit where credit is due. The importance of this is obviously because we want to avoid plagiarism, but the reason behind it is that we only can trust our information when we're researching. We're giving a sort of like presumption of faith that the people who are doing the research are being ethical in how they're doing it. They're not taking somebody else's work and not giving them credit. They're not fraudulently saying that someone else's work supports their ideas or their thesis without any actual evidence of that. And by appropriately citing and using your resources, you're contributing to the value of that research as well. So it's a chain that goes both ways, right? Like you want to be able to trust the resources that you're using in your research, and the way that you can ensure that that not only that you can trust your resources, but that other people who might come across your work and need to use it for something, like maybe they're doing their own research down the line. The way that you can preserve that chain is by appropriately and effectively citing and labeling your resources as well. So we have a lot of resources for you guys about that. We're obviously available to help you produce your citations if you have any difficulty with that. But I always recommend to students this resource that we have included in the guide right here, the APA Formatting and Style Guide for the Purdue OWL. They also have MLA in Chicago, if I recall correctly. Now, the Purdue OWL website, the online writing lab, is really, really good because it gives great guidelines on um, how to produce the appropriate style for citations and for references, and it also gives you a ton of different resources and examples. So you can appropriately cite an ebook from our catalog. You can appropriately cite a journal article in print or online. You can appropriately cite a report from a government website. And these are all things that, as you are working through your research, you may need to do, and it is super, super helpful to have a concrete visualization that says, okay, here's where you put this information, here's how you format it, here's how it looks once it's done. It's a great resource. I use it all the time, and I really highly recommend that you guys do too. And finally, the Rose Thomas Writing Center, if you guys are having any difficulty with preparing your writing, if you need help with editing, you can use the Writing Center and set up an appointment with them, and they will go over your work with you. They'll help you with your composition, they'll help you with your writing, and help you edit as well. At the library, we are able and available to help you guys with citation. We can help you look for resources. We can help you strategize your paper in terms of like how you want to handle your researching, how you want to think about narrowing down your topic. If you're having difficulty finding information, these are all things that we can help you with at the library. The ways that you can get in contact with us are by emailing us for one, and all of our information and contact information is available at the library website, which is going to be alamo.edu/spc/library. But from this LibGuide, as I was saying before, you can actually just go over here to this tab that says Ask Us. And you click on it, and it brings up a chat box that gives you the option of directly connecting with us. And we're open 8 to 7 on the weekdays right now. I think it's actually Monday through Thursday because it's summer semester currently. And we are directly connected and monitoring this chat line at all times. So if you guys are like working through your assignment, maybe you're getting into the database and you're having trouble finding something, you can connect to us immediately. And we can also set up Zoom meetings for you just immediately over chat. If it's just a quick question that you need help navigating something in the website you're having difficulty with, we can do that. But I highly encourage you guys as you get started on your research project to sign up for an IRA, because the earlier that we are able to get with you and explain how to navigate the resources effectively, how to find what you're looking for in the databases, and how to sort of frame your topics as you go into the research process, it means that you're able to come in a little bit more prepared than you would otherwise be. And it really can help streamline your workload as you go forward. So good luck, guys. Please use the guide. Please feel free to reach out to us with any questions that you have about the guide or any library resources. And I hope this was helpful. So good luck on your assignment.